When the FBI arrested Heber Jeffs on kidnapping charges in Minot in February, many people were surprised to learn that Jeffs and other members of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the FLDS, are making connections in North Dakota. Heber Jeffs is the nephew of convicted child rapist Warren Jeffs, who investigators say leads the extremist group from a federal prison in Texas. Prosecutors claim Heber kidnapped a 10-year-old from Utah and brought her to Minot as part of a revelation to gather the FLDS women at Warren's order. They say Heber's arrest is the latest event that's arisen from years of criminal investigations into the organization. To understand the group's presence in North Dakota, Erica Craven first brings us up to Williston and then down to South Dakota to learn why and how people are leaving the FLDS.
The American dream is simple. Hard work pays off. Lauren is in Williston, chasing that dream.
As a kid, I always wanted to fix things.
He says he was raised on American values.
You'll never find somebody that's more patriotic than somebody from the FLDS.
But wasn't free.
You know, you couldn't have a computer, you couldn't have a cell phone, you couldn't listen to the radio, you couldn't watch movies.
For the first part of his life, he, his mother, father, and 10 siblings followed orders from one man.
Once Warren Jeffs took over, then everything went downhill in a hurry.
The FLDS is an offshoot of Mormonism, but the group was ousted from the mainstream religion more than a century ago due to their beliefs in polygamy. Lauren says Warren Jeffs led the group with increasingly strict rules while Jeffs committed crimes he's in prison for.
I've seen pictures of him making out with like 11-year-old girls.
Warren Jeffs is sitting life in prison plus 20 for arranging the marriage of underage people and the rape of these underage girls.
That's Matt Browning. He spent years monitoring the group. He says the issue he takes with the FLDS is not one of religious difference, but of protecting human rights.
If you take religion out, you still have human trafficking, you still have frauds, you still have assaults, you still have child molest, you still have kids that are thrown out to the streets that we as society are going to have to take care of. And that's without the religion. Now you put the religion back into it. Now God has sanctioned that.
Browning and his wife have helped those who want to leave.
You have to take the time to understand them.
What they will tell you, it wasn't the physical fence, it was the mental fence that kept them in the FLDS.
Custer County Sheriff Marty McKaylee was driven by the same quest for understanding. It brought him to Farmer Road again and again.
And as we get up over this hill, you'll see the compound.
A guard tower in a remote area of the Black Hills marks a former FLDS settlement. There, Sheriff McKaylee met his new neighbors, a group of FLDS girls and women.
Can everybody see?
It took him 3 years to open the lines of communication, in person and by phone. Freedom. That's what Sheriff McKaylee said some of the girls asked for.
Think about it. What kind of world would we live in if we all helped each other a little bit? Of course, I'm going to help them. We couldn't tell them no. We'll help them for the rest of our lives.
Freedom. That's the word Lauren used too.
When you're in something that deep, it takes a long time for you to decide that it's worth giving up everything and everyone you know for something you know very little about, but just you want your freedom.
He decided to leave the FLDS in 2017 as Warren Jeffs gave a revelation virtually from prison.
I moved up to North Dakota and I went to work, and I worked oil field where you could do all the hours you want, and that's how I just covered the pain, was at work.
After work on himself, Lauren says he has no regrets. He started his own business and wants to someday get married, buy a house, and live the American dream. In Bismarck, Erica Craven reporting for your News Leader.
Sheriff McKaylee and investigator Matt Browning say the former FLDS members they've helped are also doing well, and some are even going to college. Current FLDS members did not respond to our request for comment. Tune in tomorrow to learn more about why FLDS members are now purchasing land in North Dakota.
Yesterday, we told you about the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the crimes leader Warren Jeffs is convicted of, and why some members of the group decided to leave. Jeffs still communicates with his followers from a prison in Texas, and some investigators and former members say he's directing families to move to North Dakota. Erica Craven has the details.
Right there.
Small town America persists in Russo, North Dakota.
There's 4 people out there right now.
Quiet, remote, little crime.
And we see what's going on, and we kind of patrol the town ourselves.
Isolated areas away from law enforcement are a draw to the FLDS. At least that's what investigators like Matt Browning say.
And it's easier to build a compound in a place that they're not known.
Former FLDS member Lauren agrees.
Just searching for somewhere where it's desolate and nobody messes with them.
He found out on Facebook the FLDS was moving to North Dakota.
It said, to mail your letter of confession or whatever to a Velva, North Dakota P.O. box.
Law enforcement confirmed the locations of at least a dozen properties rented or owned by FLDS members in North Dakota. In February, the FBI arrested FLDS leader Warren Jeff's nephew, Heber Jeffs.
I know Heber Jeffs because he was our neighbor.
On kidnapping charges. He hasn't yet gone to trial. After the arrest, others in North Dakota took notice.
Just thought, wow, Heber Jeffs is in Minot, and he's kidnapped a little girl. Sounds like the exact thing a loyal FLDS member would do.
All the neighbors out there don't want that kind of stuff going on.
The stuff?
There's a lot of financial crime, like child labor laws, there's human trafficking, all of those things. But I think the worst victims of the FLDS are people in the FLDS.
North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley told us multiple law enforcement agencies are aware of the concerns.
In the fullness of time, we'll look forward to sharing that information publicly, if appropriate. And between now and then, people can rest assured that the BCI and other entities are giving it the full attention that it requires.
Michelle Erickson at the Abused Adult Resource Center says North Dakota has resources for potential victims too.
The services we offer are for anybody trying to get out of a relationship that's not healthy. And a lot of the same things that are happening in domestic violence relationships are happening in those relationships. The power and control issues, the isolation, using your children against you, those things are happening in those relationships too.
Lauren, who left the FLDS in 2017 and moved to Williston, and Sheriff McKaylee, who's helped several girls leave the organization, say FLDS members are isolated and taught to distrust outsiders. Both ask for empathy.
They may have been led down a bad path by a pedophile leader, but I would say they are good people. If you deal with them, if you work with them, they'll pay their bills, they'll take care of you, they're honest.
Lauren is proof he's building a new life away from the FLDS. His thoughts never far from those still living under Warren Jeff's rule. Investigators say they don't know how long FLDS members will remain in rural North Dakota. In Bismarck, Erica Craven reporting for your News Leader.
Investigators say they don't know how many FLDS members have moved to North Dakota. They say they've learned to fly under the radar by spreading out, traveling hundreds of miles to visit grocery stores, listening to Warren Jeff's revelations over Zoom, and frequently moving members and breaking apart families. Matt Browning says the group has asked members who left to return. FLDS members did not respond to our request for comment.
Heber Jeffs, the nephew of convicted felon and leader for the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Warren Jeffs, was arrested in Minot earlier this year.
Many were surprised to find a North Dakota connection with the religious group. Former FLDS members are trying to bring attention to children running away or being taken back into the church. A former member living in North Dakota says he believes some of those missing children could be here in North Dakota, much like the 10-year-old niece found with Heber Jeffs.
It's been a very difficult situation. I feel like, well, the police told me she ran away. There isn't much we can do. And I've tried to explain to them that this is not just her running away. They're hiding her. She was told what to do, where to go.
The group in Utah says it knows of 19 children who disappeared. 9 have been found. When Minot police arrested Heber Jeffs, the nephew of convicted felon and leader for the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Warren Jeff, many were surprised to find there was a North Dakota connection with the religious group. Former FLDS members have been trying to bring attention to children running away or being taken back into the church. A former member living in North Dakota says he believes some of those missing kids could be here, just like the 10-year-old niece found with Heber Jeffs.
It's been a very difficult situation. I feel like, well, the police told me she ran away. There isn't much we can do. And I've tried to explain to them that this is not just her running away. They're hiding her. She was told what to do, where to go.
The group in Utah says it knows of 19 children who have disappeared. 9 have been found.